All right. Welcome to Game On, X's and O's for Life's Playbook. Thank you, Katie. I'm Marty
Always.
Schneider, and my co-host.
Katie Clark coming with you right now, just post workout. We're going to be talking all things workout today because, again, new year, new you, but just kind of how that levels into our life. And I think even, I've been noticing people are hungry for authenticity. There's so much, especially with this like new wave of AI, there's so much fakeness, fake lips, fake hair, fake everything, that I just thought today I'm gonna go exactly how I am today. And here it is, live and fresh.
I love it. I know. I mean, the thing is, like we talked about this last week, I think the motto for the state of North Carolina and the motto for my high school, esse quam videre, which is to be rather than to seem. But, that's not what a lot of people do. I mean, and there's like reasons sometimes to like obviously put on some extra makeup and do all that stuff. But the
Absolutely.
reality is that like but then that's like a charade. You have to constantly like keep up with that.
Yes.
I don't think that that's a very healthy lifestyle.
Interestingly enough, I was talking with my therapist this week. She was helping me kind of figure out like the book that I'm going to write. I have multiple ideas, not always sure what I want to do, but she says, Katie, what I always hear from you is your authenticity. And I have some friends, they have this great podcast, and it's, they were talking about how terrible Botox is for you. But the irony is that they get Botox. And so I remember listening to the podcast thinking, wait a minute, you all get Botox and you're not being honest and authentic with your listeners, saying, gosh, we get Botox. We're just hearing this now. It's probably not our best choice. We're wrestling with it. Like, be honest with people. Like, and I guess maybe I'm too honest sometimes, but I just thought literally, I was like, oh, I should probably shower and look better. Of course, lighting does help, if it's not too, I'm a little bit back from the camera, but honestly, lives are busy and we're trying to get everything in these days. And I just thought, I don't need to have the perfect hair today. I don't need to have everything all prim and proper. And so I didn't. I just came today like how I would hang out with you. So I'm visiting in California. I also have way less clothing and makeup around. And I just thought it's kind of nice not to have to be doing so much all the time.
Well, I appreciate that. And that is really the sign, like when you're comfortable enough in your own skin, like you can do that. Like I love that. The thing is, like I try like on Sundays like to not wear any makeup or just to be like, all right, that's it. Like I take my makeup off Saturday night and I'm like, I'm not doing anything again on my face until Monday morning or two, sometimes like, well, yesterday was a holiday, or no, Monday was a holiday. So I was like, that's it, like 2 days. And it really does like it's a great way just for me to be out and then go be like, all right, you know what? I could probably use a little cover up, a little concealer, but a little lipstick. However, if you like yourself enough, like I think that is just really a good way to remind yourself that you are enough. Like you don't need
Yeah.
all the stuff to go out there in the world. And
Yeah.
certainly hanging out with you, like with friends, like thank you. That's a compliment to me that you are comfortable enough with me and even our audience to be like, you know what? I just want you to know who I am. Like that's cool.
Could you imagine if everybody on those Good Morning shows just showed up looking regular? Like just no hair, no makeup, just like came and like, or did their own hair and makeup. It would be so interesting to see if people could handle, they
Yeah.
want to think, oh, you look good all the time, but maybe people don't. And they just, life is life. And it's, again, I think it's a great way to start to celebrate who we really are deep down. And I love that you mentioned all that. But speaking of which, you and I were talking before the show. And I have a friend on Instagram. She gave me a lymphatic massage about a year ago. And she's like, Katie, do you need another one? And I was like, you know what? Lymphatic massage, it's the new year. Like, oh, everybody loves a little massage. But getting a massage, a lymphatic massage, is very, very different. And I mean, her Instagram, her name is Esther Camargo, Camargo. She shows the pictures of the befores and afters. Now, have you tried it?
No, but I want you to tell me. I've been like, it's so funny that you say that because I have been like thinking, I'm like, I see all these things like, oh, lymphatic drainage, and I've got some thyroid issues. And I'm like, I know that that would be so great. No, but I want to know all about it. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Okay, tell me.
Well, I lived in China for 7 years, and there's much different modalities that they do in medicine over there, which some of them I remember thinking that's crazy. Like, what are they doing? But the more I learn and grow in other ways and philosophies, you see how great it is. And I remember a girlfriend of mine was trying to lose weight. So she would go get this Chinese massage, and they would, push her stomach and do all these things. And I was like, what is, you can't just push fat out. Like, it's rearranging. But really, I remember when my first kiddo was really young, I took a baby massage course, which wasn't lymphatic drainage, but it was taking his stomach, and I would do what's called the I love you. And it's literally on the belly of a baby or on yourself. I've done this in the mornings too, to get my bowels moving, right? To get things pushing through. It's the upstroke is the I, and then it's an up L, love, and then it's an up L U, I love you. So if you were to do it on yourself, again, it's to get the bowels moving, to get the gas out, whatever it is on babies or yourself. You go, I love you. And if you're doing this consistently, you'll be able to feel where things are stuck. And it should actually gurgle, and it should kind of move around. So you can do it yourself. Obviously, I have minimal education in that, but just that little massage, I can feel it. I'm like, ooh, oh, okay, I feel that right there. I want it out of my system. So when you go get a lymphatic massage, she is doing things here and right in here. And of course, we want to be getting all the toxicities out. I mean, they say that lotions, and this is another so crazy thing, within 23 minutes, all the toxins from rubbing lotions in your skin go right to your bloodstream, and they can't come out. A lot of toxicities, a lot of metals can't just come out of your body. So we want to be draining the lymph nodes. You're going to be urinating it out. I mean, I'm not an expert by any means, but I think it's a great way to really get your body reset, on track. And one time I did do a liver too, where I went to this gentleman and he pushed my liver. And just that alone was so painful. Like little thumb pushing through my liver, I could feel it. He's like, I'm getting it. He goes back 10 minutes later and he does it again, and it doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
Because he drained it. So it's really interesting when you do kind of a more specific massage like that, just recognizing in your body how there are definitely things that are clogged up.
Oh, for sure. And I like reflexology. Like, that's another thing that, like, I know really is good. But yes, things are clogged up. I mean, and when you're thinking like you're clogged up, like, you've got to try to find ways to eliminate it and to, get moving and get everything going, which is why, I've recently been doing some research just because of my thyroid stuff and what they say. And I need to do this more. I need to actually like kick my own ass. Is that like rigorous exercise when you have a thyroid issue? That like, yeah, I walk and I'm healthy and whatever else, but like, I need to actually implement more like very, very, very rigorous exercise, like cardio exercise, even just 20 minutes a day, because that really ramps up the thyroid.
Love it.
And so that's something that I was like, all right, this is and I've just kind of discovered that, like, okay, these are all things that will ultimately help, be X's and O's for life's playbook.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that I had a thyroid thing, and I certainly didn't know what to do about it. And so then it's kind of like, all right, I'm going to research it. And the lymphatic massage is another huge part of it. The thyroid kind of operates all of our elimination, I think, in our system.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm excited. I'm going to go, I want to check out her Instagram, and I'm going to go get, between now and next week, get a lymphatic massage. And it's like, these are things like, I'm very fiscally responsible. I know you are too, Katie, but like, I would rather spend $120 on a massage than go, do something, buy myself something else or whatever, or save up the money. Certainly that's like a week of Starbucks, like, or whatever.
Right.
A week of, that's like going to lunch 2 times these days.
Right.
I'd rather certainly spend the money on that and just to see, because it's like a great way to reset your body.
Right. And your health has everything to do with everything you do. Back in the day before I was dating with Katie, I was Fit Chef Katie. So I was a trainer and a chef. And so that's why these things are so important to me. I grew up in a family that was very overweight, like obesity, overweight, chain smoking. So I watched that lifestyle and I said, I don't want any part of it. So it is choices. People say, is it nature versus nurture? I mean, I grew up in it. My brother's not healthy. I am extremely healthy. So you do have choices. And I think that's a big thing too. And I love what you're saying. Fiscally, you have choices too. Do you really need a new outfit, or do you want to look better in your outfit and feel better? So starting to choose you. And I think the older we get, the wiser we get on that. Like, oof, I want some longevity. And interestingly enough, when I worked at Equinox and I was a trainer there, and I would have to ask my new clients, like, what is your main reason for wanting to work out? Well, the women would always say, I want to be around for my grandkids. I want to have the energy, because you could be around without any of the energy, right? Just sitting. My dad would watch TV hours on it. My dad had no energy because he just didn't keep himself well.
Mhm.
But ironically, I'd have to share this. Whenever I asked the men, why do you want to get fit? Why do you want to work out? Guess what they always said?
Probably because they want to look better.
They always said, I want to look good naked. So I believe whatever it takes to motivate, whether it's the doctor told you something and now it's time to get motivated, whether it's listening right here, or whether you want to have a better dating life, whatever it takes to motivate is what I always believe. And I know you said you need to be doing 20 minutes of cardio. Look, every 15 minutes is 1% of your day. As a
Mhm.
trainer, I used to always tell my clients, Katie, I don't have any time to work out. You do, because you still have 99% of your day. So give me 15 minutes and I will work your buns. And there's so many amazing online workouts now. You just go to YouTube, hard 20-minute, hit exercises. There's no excuse. People are without excuse. I understand it's freezing. We're going to talk about the weather at the very end here, but there's just no excuse. And another thing I would say is get some bands. I don't know if you've ever seen the bands, Marnie, but woo,
Yep.
it's low impact. It'll get your heart rate. It'll build your muscle mass, which as you get older, that's important. I mean, there's so much to unwrap here, but I love that you've mentioned a few things that you're like kind of plugging into your life because they're valuable, because your health is valuable.
It is. And, it's like you talk about being, a nutritionist, Katie, and also being, a trainer, athletic trainer. I've grown up with professional sports. I mean, obviously, being around athletes in the training table, those are things that like they're not just walking out on the football field without, spending days and days and days and days and days and days and days training. And so it ultimately that's really what it comes down to, is like the discipline of it. And we talk about
Yeah.
discipline, and again, and even just having the stamina, obviously when I think about like the stamina that I have, and it's really important, you have a lot of energy, so do I. People usually can't keep up with us. When I'm in a city doing a book event or whatever it is, like I go to 8 different Barnes and Nobles in one day. People can't even do like, so all of it. It's like, but I don't want to like, I like to have a lot of energy. I feel like that's kind of like a superpower. And so you got to just keep going with it. Otherwise it will dissipate. And then that's like squandering something that you've been blessed with. Cause not everybody is really blessed with certain genetics that give them, or mental that give them an advantage. And I feel like I have been blessed with it, and you have been too. And so we just keep going and adding to it. And that's something that ultimately, like in the big picture, I think it shows a lot about, who our character.
Well, I do believe that energy creates energy. It's the same idea that if you sat on the couch all day, you're going to say, gosh, I'm so tired from sitting on the couch all day. And it's a choice. Just because I don't always feel like something, I do it, just because you feel
Right.
like it doesn't mean you should do it or not do it. But so just because, emotionally too, if I have too much energy, I've got to go get it out. So I've learned, I mean, we're older women now. We've figured some things out about ourselves. But again, if I put my sneakers on, if I wake up and I've got my fitness clothes ready, which we're going to talk about, fashion and fitness nowadays, if I've got it ready, the minute I put on my sneakers, I move different. I move faster. It's like my system knows. And believe it or not, even when I was running and I was running marathons, I did the Boston. If I had black shoes, like black running sneakers, I felt heavy. And when I had a pair of orange neon running shoes, and I actually won a race. I won a 10K in those. Like it's fashion, and what you're wearing and the colors you're wearing actually really motivated me and changed my perception on myself when I'm working out. I wear different things when I'm out running versus when I'm in front of a mirror at the gym. So what do you like? What is your fashion go-to for fitness?
Well, so I mean, my teenage daughter loves Lululemon. I'm not as obsessed with Lululemon as she is. I try to find some brands that are a little bit more, uh, a little bit less flashy. For example, there's a company that has been around forever called Beyond Yoga, and they really are. And they actually, I know the woman that started the business, and she's a great entrepreneur. So I wear a lot of Beyond Yoga, and it really does. It really is Beyond Yoga. I really don't do a lot of yoga, but like you can take it. It really does without feeling sloppy. You can still wear your exercise clothes, but the thing is, like at certain places, like you want to be so sweaty that you have to change your clothes. Like it would not be appropriate to be, I mean, not in this weather for sure, but to go and then, go work out, and have a good workout and whatever it is. And I also find that, like, you know what, wearing anything, if that's, it doesn't really matter what you're wearing, as long as you're doing something. Like
Yeah.
I've been known to wear jeans. I've traveled a lot and, forgot workout clothes. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put on my flats, my ballet flats and my jeans and go and work on the, walk on the treadmill. And that's fine
I love
too.
it. I mean, when I lived in China, I'm telling you, I saw women in high heels on the treadmill. I saw men on treadmills with cigarettes.
Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I've seen it all there, but it's interesting to me. I've always been a little frustrated with fitness fashion because I worked in the fashion world for 8 years. I worked at Allison Olivia. I worked at Michael Kors. I love having women find a great outfit that fits them well and that they can go wear it out in public. But the irony is now we're all just wearing our workout gear because it is more comfortable. And so fashion has kind of lost its framework because now this is fashion. I mean, this is a $180 sweatshirt. It's got a big pink lightning bolt on it. Does it look like it's worth $180? No, but it's certain brand and it's comfortable. I love soft stuff and I do like pink lightning bolts. It's kind of my thing. I've got it on the back of my pop socket too. But so I think the hard part for me is when I go to France, when I see such fashionable women. I really think French women have the best fashion. I think Italian men do. And you don't see them wearing Lululemons everywhere. You see them in cute dresses and they're all fit. They're all healthy. So it's interesting to me that we see us, and I feel like is it getting us lazy? That's my one concern about fitness fashion. Is it just like, well, I mean, I got a brand new giant closet full of amazing clothes, but yet am I wearing this too much? What do you think is happening?
So yeah, like a little bit of it. I think there's like life. It's always about a delicate balance. I think about my mom, and she would work out when I was a young girl, but she would work out in like sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and then it didn't look great necessarily. She looked great, but it didn't look great. And then she would, shower and change and do her hair. And the ladies' locker rooms were definitely a place where you would, she would go to a workout place or go to Curves or one of those places, change her clothes. I mean, I liked Curves. I would go with her to Curves. Remember Curves?
I do remember Curves.
It was a really good program. It was like 30 minutes. You do the minute thing.
Yeah.
35 minutes and you go from station to station. I liked Curves. I think we should bring Curves. I don't know is it still around? I don't think so.
Well, do you remember Get in Shape Girl?
No, what is that? No.
A VHS program, and it came with ribbons and like little weights. I mean, as a kid, I used to do Get in Shape Girl.
Right.
And what a great way to make women comfortable. Because I know a lot of women are really uncomfortable getting in the weight room. And hey, I'm all for, like, I don't match when I'm at the gym. I am not one of those girls in matching outfits. I never show my belly at the gym. If I'm out running and it's a beautiful day, I would have just a running top on. But so I understand how women can be intimidated with weights, but Curves is a great way to like just women alone. And gosh, look at us. We're just brainstorming here.
I know. I mean, when I lived in Los Angeles and I would go to the, Equinox in Beverly Hills, it was a fashion show. It wasn't necessarily, I mean, people did work out obviously because they have to stay in shape, but I always felt like, wow, I don't have anything like that in my closet. I would not feel comfortable spending $300 or $400 on a workout outfit. That to me just seems like a lot, but that's what they cost. So I feel like maybe in the next couple of weeks, we can get people some affordable options of what to wear that still has good organic materials. Cause like the other thing is, and this is going to sound like I've been telling my daughter, I'm like, I don't want you wearing a lot of these clothes have petroleum in them. Right. And it's not good to wear that, in your reproductive areas. And like, there's stuff that like now I could really go off the deep end with some of that stuff.
We should do that next week. Cause I just saw an Instagram thing that it was like, you've got BPAs all in your clothing. Cause they're not regulating that.
No.
So sure, we're not using it in our plastic anymore, but we're wearing it and sweating it and ingesting it nonetheless. Yep. I mean, it's kind of nutty. So I would love to hear more about that too.
Yeah, I think it's something that we can really, I mean, because I'm interested in it. And again, it's like I think about this with my mom who has dementia, and like, and so we're so horrible to the elderly in this country. And I go and I try to buy her, clothes, and most everything. My mom's very thin, but all of it is like bad fabrics, and they don't it's all polyester fabrics or whatever. And I've thought about, like, couldn't I ever create a line of clothing for the elderly that has snaps on it, that looks cute, that's easy to wear. And the problem is that, Katie, people a lot of times do not really want to invest in the elderly. And
Mm.
fabrics and clothing and comfort, there's just it's all, again, part of the whole thing. But yeah, fabrics are a big thing. And like finding organic good fabrics that you can work out in, that when you do sweat, you're not going to be then having all that stuff going into your body. I think that that is a really good thing, like certainly for the girls, I mean, and the guys too. Like they don't want, on their areas having all the stuff that's not
Well,
good.
it doesn't even have to be in the area, because once it gets into our skin, it's going to go into the bloodstream. So boom, it's traveling, it's moving, it's cellular at that point.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's where cancer runs. And I mean, we are no experts here, but at least we give little tidbits for you to go, I'm going to Google that when I get off. Like, yeah, she's right. And I mean, Marnie, you're encouraging me today. I'm like, I need to be purchasing more organic fabrics. It's,
Yeah.
you'd like to think, oh, it's just cotton, right? Sure, it's great for me, but not anymore.
Right. I mean, even think about like how, I mean, when I think about when I was younger, and the fabrics, like the t-shirts at a rock concert, they were just like cotton t-shirts. They weren't, and they still, and they felt better. They were just a different kind of thing, of rather than some sort of um all the stuff. So yeah, we're gonna get into that a little bit
Yeah.
next week and going forward. And maybe each week we'll kind of celebrate something that is more organic of a fabric, and that has uh, a better shelf life for us as adults, so that we can protect ourselves a little bit more, because we're doing all these things. Like, so you got to do all these things to do all these things.
Yeah. Well, speaking of all these things, let's talk about, okay, I just want to bring this up really quickly. Valentine's Day is less than a month away. So I've got some advice real quick. Ladies, if your man is probably going to forget, you can either, one, make the reservation for wherever you'd like to go, or two, give him a little hint. Men don't read minds. Give him a little hint. Send him a little text. Hey, babe, I found this cute outfit, or I found this ring I like, or like my husband and I, we do a little mini vacation. I've actually asked him, he has to kind of plan it, because it's the one vacation he has to plan so that I feel loved. So we're going to Charleston, and we're not going on Valentine's weekend or Valentine's Day. We don't go out on those days because it's crazy. So ladies, maybe encourage your man a little bit so you're not disappointed. And guys, go get the reservation now. It's a month away. You're going to have to plan it. And even if you're single, I told a couple of my buddies, some of my followers on Instagram at Dating with Katie, book it now. You can always unbook it, but if you can't book it, if there's nothing left to book, so get those reservations for Valentine's Day.
That is a really good suggestion. And even just, there's many. Okay. So if somebody books a reservation, and then I have a question about something I saw on your Instagram post. Yeah. So make a reservation, and maybe even do something, call up a friend and say, I have a reservation, go to this restaurant, whatever it is. It's being thoughtful and being kind-hearted. Those are always good things on every day, in particular Valentine's Day. All right. So Katie, wait, so I saw on your Instagram about somebody who would ask for suggestions of where to go, and okay, wait, tell me. So yeah, why don't you set it up? Because I was like, wait a minute, this is really interesting. Like, yeah, I liked that.
Okay, so I have a client. I did his photos, and he put them on his Hinge profile. So he's not a matchmaking client. I just did a little photo session with him, and he said, Katie, game changer. I styled him. I told him what to wear. We did 3 outfits. Of course, there's always my uniform, which is dark blue jeans, crisp white shirt, blue blazer, pocket square, cool socks, right? He says that photo just kills it every time. These women love it. So another suggestion I always have is ask these women 3 restaurants that they want to go to, defer to them so that they're comfortable on the date. You know, some women are like, well, he should know where to take me. Well, men don't know. Every woman has a different, who knows if she's a vegetarian, who knows? So I think it's polite for a guy to say, give me 3 suggestions and I'll pick one. So she still gets her way and he's in control of the ultimate.
Right.
Well, he did that. And now I do have to say he's an athletic trainer at a high school. So he's not a CEO. He's not living high in the wealth numbers, but he's a hardworking man and he's a great guy. He sends me a text, Katie, this woman chose the 3 most expensive restaurants. And sure enough, she did. And, you know, I texted him back and I said a couple things. I said, number 1, is she worth it? Have you called this woman on the phone? So always vet by calling and having a discourse. You can tell a lot by somebody by actually having a real life phone conversation. Have you called her? Is she worth it? Like, is she this hottie that you really want to impress? Or is she just like another one in the lineup? Because it's, you know, there's rankings, let's be honest.
On the bench, which we're going to get to.
And, you know, and so ultimately, and it's interesting, I put it on my IG, had a lot of comments. I actually sent them to it. I sent him the comments this morning, and he was like, you know, it's interesting. Let me read you a few of what other people said he should do. What do you think he should do?
All right. So, you know, that was really interesting. Just in general, it's kind of like, okay, well, and I do this with my kids. Like, I'm like, well, okay, where do you guys want to go eat? And then they'll tell me a place and I'm like, no, I don't want to go there. And they're like, but mom, you said, where do I want to go eat? And I'm like, okay, but there's like parameters, whatever. I don't really want Mexican. Okay. So I was thinking about that when I saw that. I was like, well, if somebody asked me where I wanted to go, okay, I would say, here's what I want to do. However, that being said, if you know the person, if you have a little bit of information and you know your audience, then if you're going to be that kind of person that's going to say, I want to go to Mastro's Ocean Club, I want to go to Nobu, and I want to go, like, those places are very extravagant. And that's like seemingly so entitled for somebody to to say that. Like, it's kind of yucky. And I would get really turned off if somebody said, you know, oh, if I offer to take somebody out for their birthday or whatever it is, and they were like, I want to go to whatever it is, it doesn't, I would say that's fine. It's, you know, it's like, okay. I mean, I kind of have a lot of information to deal with now.
I 100% agree. I think it's highly entitled of a woman to send the 3 most expensive restaurants. And I would say it's a little bit of a red flag. I would say it's definitely a test. For a few reasons. One, she might just be milking you for a nice meal out. I mean, there's women who, if he's paying, I'm playing, you know, I've heard that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of, that's part of the game of dating. But there's also women who have had this caliber of lifestyle. So in the sense that it's a test, it's because she had this caliber of lifestyle. Maybe she makes her own money and she's living that life of, this is where she eats out, so therefore he must take me there, which is fair. That's fair. So there could be that element of a test too. So he just needs to really suss that out. This is the solution that I had for him. But first, let me read what some of these people on Instagram, my followers, said to him. He said, well, yikes, he put it out there and should stick with it, unfortunately, for his wallet. That was from a female. A guy said, find a new date. Another guy said he should have been a leader and chosen, which I disagree with. As a dating coach, you can't just, you don't know what every single woman wants to do, right? You don't just say, I'm taking you here on this night. You know, you say, when are you free? Is there any restaurants that you would love to eat at? So, and look, ladies, you don't choose the most expensive. It's rude. It's just so rude, you know? And so of course, this guy saying to this guy, you know, now he needs to go to one of her options. Take her to one of them and see where it goes. This might be her only vibe, then move on. I would be weary of going out with this woman. If I were a man, this is not a good sign. And that's from another female. Another female said, do not ask her out again. So here's the solution that I presented to my client. I said to him, look, you did ask her. She did say these things. You kind of can't go back on it now, but to save a little bit of money. And he did say, you know, I would do that, but maybe on a 5th date, if I really want to like take her somewhere nice. I said, why don't you do this? Why don't you say, great, I'll meet you at the bar and get us 2 seats. We can have some drinks and bites. There you go. You've now taken it down to this. She's not getting a full steak dinner. She's not getting a bottle of wine because she doesn't deserve it. Like, ladies.
Yeah. And the other thing is like and maybe it's not what you do, it's who you do it with. So it's like
Mm,
the other, like I really like that expression, because you have to remember that if this is somebody in like what, like you and I, like if we were just like going out, like sure, we might say we want to go someplace fancy because we like the festiveness of it, but we could like sit on a park bench with, you know, a charcuterie board and be like, this is
right,
so fun,
right.
because it's
You know,
not
and I'll
because
tell
we're
you what,
there for the
ladies.
company.
I'll tell you what, ladies, if you, any guy, and here's the thing, whether he is a CEO billionaire or if he is, you know, just a teacher or a trainer at a school, if you were the chick that said, ooh, let's go to this dive bar for our first date, both of those guys would be like, she's rad.
Mm-hmm.
She's cool. Like that is such a win for these guys. If you're coming out of the gate already expecting, it's just impolite, and it's, you know, that's fine if that's your lifestyle. But again, I do like that he's going to honor his word. And I think he can just take it down a notch. Like, let's grab a drink and a bite. You know, I do always suggest offering food.
And it's and the thing is, this isn't even just about like a male female dynamic. This is like if you're out with your friends and you're like, I want to go out, like, and I'm gonna treat you, and they're ordering and and they're ordering a lot of whatever it is, expensive wines and something like that. Like that's kind of gross. Like if my
Yeah.
friend was somebody that
Yeah.
was doing that, it's gross. Like I just think that that's like, it's just really super entitled, and entitled people exist, and that's good for them. But I think that it does it's I don't think I think it's going to be really hard to maintain any sort of relationship, personal or friendship or whatever, when you're entitled.
Yeah, I have a whole podcast on tests that men and women give. I think it's like podcast 28, because these are like little mini tests that they're doing. Oh, am I worth it? Is he, you know, going to do that? And sure, he could have offered some suggestion, you know, here's 3 suggestions that I give. Hey, why don't you give some suggestions? I'll give 3 and then I'll choose one. But honestly, I always do think deferring is kind of a kinder, like gentlemanly thing to do. So we will see how that goes. He always gives me updates afterwards, and I will let you know next week.
Yes. Okay, good. Yeah. Well, I will be curious to hear how that unfolds. All right. So moving along, you know, we talk about partnerships and we talk about friendships and romance and everything else, hobbies. So the other day you texted me and it was like, I looked at my phone. I'm like, is that Katie? You know, and she was like, what about those Eagles and the Cowboys? And I'm like, it's so funny because now you've really embraced, which is so lovely, your husband's enjoyment of football, and obviously disappointment for both of those teams over
Oh,
the weekend.
it was
But
bad.
you know, and that's something that I think that when you're in a relationship with somebody, or you want to be friends with somebody, learning their hobbies and understanding what they do and wanting just to be part of it is a really genuine and sweet way to show that you really do care and that you're invested in them. And so there's also, for you as a dating coach and as a relationship expert, and even for me, I've learned so much from watching what teams do and how they have starters and backup players. And there's always, like, being a backup player, you have to be just as ready as
Yeah.
the starter. And so, like, in life, I always say, like, we're one day I'm a starter, the next day in my own life I'm a backup player, but I got to be just as ready as I was the day before, even if I'm not the starter that day, just to go in and take over, because you never know.
You never know. And I think going back to the hobbies idea, look, I didn't grow up I mean, my dad watched some sports and I knew about sports, but watching them, I'm not a good sitter no matter what. So sitting, I get a little antsy, but and I prefer basketball. So if there is a sport I'm going to watch, it's always usually basketball. But here's the thing is, when I met my husband, I said 3 things to him. I said, I love to hike, I'm going to Machu Picchu, and I want to do a hot air balloon ride. And he specifically said, I have no interest in any of those. And I said to him, well, I'll find somebody who does. Now, you don't always have to have the exact same hobbies, but it's important to listen and hear where we can be spending our time. And men like it when you spend time doing hobbies that they enjoy, like
Mhm.
hitting golf balls with a man. That's really enjoyable to him. Well, I can tell you that my husband is so amazing that when we were dating, he decided to start to hike with me. We hiked Machu Picchu, and we've done amazing hot air ballooning in Napa and Cappadocia, Turkey. So the man chose well, right? He chose smart. And I mean, I will say that even during this whole football season, he actually sat down and watched a few games. And I got a little intense with some conversation during the game. Not a good idea. Let the man watch the game uninterrupted. Yeah. I learned my lesson. But I do try to kind of find the things that he also likes to do. But he's such a busy worker that he doesn't have a lot of hobbies. So I tend to bring those into our relationship more, and that's okay. You know, he's busy working, so I'm always like, let's try this. And he does his little enthusiastic yes. So I appreciate that.
Well, that is good. And also because you bring it, because it's not, I think when you present the idea of whatever it is, you have a plan, like a winning game plan with it. It's not just like some random thing. It's like, okay, here's the plan and here's what I think we should do and here's what I'd like to do and can we go try it? And most people that are successful in business say, you know what, we'll try it once. I'll give it a flyer. Let's try it once. If I don't like it, I'm not doing it again. But people that are successful usually want to try things because it gives them something to talk about in business. Yeah. It gives them something to check off their list of what they've tried and done. So I think that's really, and again, you're bringing it to him and it's a fully formed idea, not just like, I want to do this. Can you go try to figure out how to get it done? That might not be as exciting for somebody because then they have to do a bunch of research on it and they might not really want to. So I think anytime you can put together a fully formatted program or offer or executive summary, I think smart people will usually take a look at it.
Yes, that I would agree with. So we've really just learned to kind of pattern each other and understand. I mean, I joined the Arboretum just because I love plants. Is that something he's going to really want to hang out and do with me? He might do a little spring walk with me through the Arboretum, but I can also build friendships around that hobby and interest. And a girlfriend of mine loves plants too, so she can be my +1 at the Arboretum events. It's okay.
Yes. And that's, you know what? And it's actually, and he might enjoy it, but he'll enjoy hearing you talk about it too.
Yeah.
He will. And it'll give you a chance to make some new friends. And it's that's like a great, wholesome activity, you and the beautiful plants. So
yes, I love
that's
it.
a good thing. You're right. It's definitely, that is, I think and watching people who you love do things that they enjoy is such a gift.
It really is. It really is. And well, speaking of watching people we love and things and enjoying it, let's talk about these football games this last week. Let's finish off with this because Marnie, Dallas, the Cowboys and the Eagles, what happened, girl? Give me your assessment.
Well, let's talk about the Eagles first. First of all, I was in a terrible funk all day yesterday. I could not figure out why. And then I was like, I think it has to do with football. And I'm like, that is really that, because it's like, the thing is, because the season's over. Like, I love the idea of like Sunday, it's the habitual part of it, of like watching the games, being with my kids, being with people I love, like going and cheering. So now it's over for this year. And plus I had a lot of, and we all had a lot of high hopes for both teams, actually. The Eagles really fell apart. I don't know what's going on. They probably have some injuries. These guys are, they don't really want to necessarily talk about their injuries because it's embarrassing to them. Like that they're not, perfect human beings, that they actually get injuries. So that's part of it. They'll both be back. The Cowboys really imploded. I don't know which one is worse. I don't know whether the Eagles loss or the Cowboys loss. I don't know. I would imagine that, well, since I'm not in Philadelphia and you're actually in the DFW, I am sure that people there are losing their minds, like beyond.
I do a little ESPN segment and they're like, Katie, checking in. How are you guys doing in Dallas? I said, aside from the 11-degree weather and the fact that the Cowboys did terrible, I took a plane to LA, so I'm out. But
yeah, well, this is good. Today on my other show for Alumni Network, we're going to have Cowboy legends Drew Pearson and Timmy Newsome on. And I hope they show up. No, I mean, they will. They're great guys. But the fact is that they've just had, they were on like the teams that were really winning a lot of games and Super Bowls and NFC championships. And so I think that it's going to be interesting to see what they have to say. Yeah. So
All right.
again, it's on any given Sunday. You just never know. And that's why, again, like, we're here, we're your X's and O's for Life's Playbook, your cheerleaders, reminding you just to, get your stuff done, be prepared, be the bench warmer. It's okay. You'll eventually get in.
Yeah. Be
Yep.
disciplined, get healthy, get your mind right. Either way, Marty, I always love our little hangout, our little show. We're hoping that it's blessing you and giving you new information and just some laughs. I mean, I hope people laugh with us. But check us out. We're on Instagram. And where will you find us, Marty?
At Game on XOTV.
It's
Yep,
pretty
on
easy.
Instagram.
You can
Yes.
email us, send us a DM, any ideas, anything you want us to talk about. I mean, I'm going to be bouncing around, so you're going to see different backgrounds coming up. I will be traveling, so so we will be having fun this year. Marty, love you,
Yes.
girl.
All right. Love you lots. Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye,
Okay,
everyone.
until then, next time. Bye, guys.
Okay. Trying to end the live.
I know. We should just let people know. We're going to end the line now, but we might not be ending the line. The stream.
Yeah. Just sitting here trying to do that. That's all right. We'll get it eventually. Or we'll just hang up and that's how.
There's got to be a button. Yeah. Click the live, maybe?
That's what I'm trying to do. And it's not working.
Oh, girl. How do we not every week? We need tech support.
I know we do need some tech support. Dennis, where are you? All right. Well, you know what? We're just gonna go away and they'll have
close the link. We're gonna do that. But will it save it?
I will put you in the waiting room so you don't have to sit here while I'm trying to do all this. And
okay. Take a picture of your screen, then we can show them and say, where is the button to end this?
It's so crazy.
It can't be that hard. Is it underneath stream? Go to stream on the right.
I'm on the live thing and it won't let me do, and it just doesn't let me, nothing happens when I click on the live.
Oh, girl.
Or over here either, or over here.
Channel live up top. Nope.
See, you can end it. Oh, nope.
Girl, I have no idea.